Welcome back to PonyFans Live, brought to you by Lakewood's First and 10. Don't forget, when these guys beat Marshall on Saturday afternoon, come back to Lakewood's First and 10 for your post-game party. Game day cloth. Win or lose, love your team. Visit their store at Legacy and the Tollway in Plano and check out GameDayCloth.com and PonyFans.com, the oldest, largest, and fastest growing website. There you go. Kyle Padron modeling the long sleeve shirts at Game Day Cloth for the whiteout on Saturday. As we mentioned, Saturday afternoon, you guys get Marshall. A year ago, you had your 6th win, and you could have gotten the all-important 7th that would have guaranteed a win, or guaranteed a bowl game. Came up short against Marshall. Is there sort of a we owe these guys sentiment running through your team, through your locker room?
You know, definitely a little bit. That was, everyone's a little bitter after that. I think we also would have been in the conference championship if we would have won that game too.
Right.
So, and that's, again, that's what's on the line this year too. So, yeah, that's definitely in the back of everyone's head for sure.
This is the 3rd time this year that you guys have had a chance to sort of get a stranglehold on the lead in Conference USA's Western Division. How much do you guys talk about that? Either on the practice field or in meetings or going to class? Is that a topic of discussion, or is that sort of taboo and off limits?
Coach Jones actually touched on it the other day. One of our meetings, he said that most teams don't get a 3rd, maybe even a 2nd chance to go after a conference championship. So we got to take care of business and just keep executing on offensively and let the defense take care of themselves. And it should be a fun game for us.
Does it feel different this year? Last year you were trying to break a 25-year stretch without a bowl bid. This year, all right, you went to Hawaii last year. Now you're trying to get back. Is the intensity level or the feeling at practice or in meetings different for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, last year was kind of, you know, we were surprising everybody and no one really expected it out of us. And this year we really expected out of ourselves. And, you know, we honestly, I mean, we know we could be a lot better than we are right now, our record. But, so yeah, it's a lot more like have to win mentality is to last year. It was like, you know, kind of if we win, thinking about like what could be this year, like we have to have it, we expect to win.
So you're not going into this thinking, well, if Saturday doesn't go well, at least we got one more week?
No,
not at all.
Somehow I didn't think you would.
Huh? We come in expecting to win every game. And, fortunately, it hadn't gone our way every single time this year, but just got to keep getting better, put in the past, and just get better this week.
Now, JT, you and Kelvin Beacham have a big challenge on Saturday in the form of Marshall defensive end Vinny Curry, who leads Conference USA and is 5th in the nation with 9 quarterback sacks. Give us a little thumbnail sketch of what he does that makes him so effective and what you guys can do to try to keep Kyle in one piece on Saturday.
I mean, he's a big athletic guy. I mean, 6'4", and he moves pretty good for how big he is. And I don't know, he plays with good leverage, and it's nothing real flashy. He's just a good, solid DN and kind of has a knack for being in the right place at the right time.
The other guy who jumps out on film is their weak side linebacker, Mario Harvey, who's a Butkus Award semifinalist. He's already got 111 tackles this year, but he sort of defies logic. You think of weak side linebackers, you think of maybe a smaller guy who can really run. This guy is 250 pounds and can fly. So is he a guy who, when you go up to the line of scrimmage, you're immediately looking for number 30 at all times, or do you just trust the guys in front of you, they'll take care of him, you can run whatever play you're normally planning to run?
There's a lot of trust up front, but yeah, he is a guy that I'm going to try and locate every single snap, and but I mean, I can't let him change the way I play the game. Can't be scared to take a hit. If they do miss something, then I got to take the hit, get the ball out, and let our receivers make plays.
How does he compare to the top linebackers who you've faced this year?
I think he compares a lot to Marcus McGraw from Houston. And then I'm just watching East Carolina. I've seen their tape a couple times this year. They have some good linebackers as well. So, I mean, they play with a lot of speed. Like JT said, they got a knack for finding the football. That guy's going to make some plays. And, I mean, they are going to make some plays. We know that going in, and we just got to make a few more.
Do they like to line them up on opposite? I know that from talking to the coaches that they like to move Curry both from your side over to Kelvin's side.
Yeah.
Flip-flop them back and forth, and sometimes they do that with linebackers as well. Would they rather have those two guys coming from opposite ends, or do they want to overload on one side and theoretically try to overwhelm one side of the line? And if so, how do you compensate for that?
I don't think they really focus on, what sides they are in relationship to each other. It's kind of just has to do with the alignment of the offense. But I know occasionally Harvey will come down and play defensive end too, in a 4 down. So, I mean, it's not a lot, but a few times a game. And whenever he does that, they're both rushing on opposite ends. So, yeah, you got 2 pretty good guys coming off the edge.
When you guys look at film, and you've had 2 weeks to look at Marshall, when you look at film, what do you make of this team? Because they started out 1-6, which partially can be credited to the fact that they had a new coaching staff. Doc Holliday came over from West Virginia, and they also had a brutal non-conference schedule that included a game with West Virginia. They had to go out to Columbus, Ohio, and play Ohio State, which nobody really wants to do. But when they start out 1-6, they're getting drilled on the stat sheet as well as the scoreboard. Now they've won 3 straight. They are also a fairly desperate team. If they win their last 2 games, they're going to be bowl eligible. How good is this team when you look at them on paper?
I mean, you look at their size. Like the last two guys we talked about. I mean, they play with good size and good speed. So, and they're playing with a lot of confidence right now. Like you said, they've won 3 straight, and they're not afraid of us by any means. They beat us last year, so they know they can play with us. And like I said earlier, we just got to go out and make a few more plays than they do. And when they do make their plays, we got to respond to it.
They're not blowing up the scoreboard offensively. They're putting up 19 points a game, which isn't bad, but it's not, Florida or whoever you want to identify. But does that make your job as an offense any easier, knowing that you might not have to have an enormous scoring day to win, that you can count more on your defense?
I mean, no, we never really look at it like that. We're always going to try to, I know what's said a lot around our team is hang 50, and that's what we want to do every game regardless of the opposing offense. So we approach every game with that mindset no matter who it is.
Players and coaches both have said for several weeks now, it feels like you're this close to clicking, for lack of a better term, getting back to that area that you had the offense running in Hawaii, where it seemed like everything you tried worked, and where you can move the ball up and down the field and punch it in the end zone. What do you have to tighten up or clean up to get over that last little hump, to get that extra level of efficiency?
The little things, like I touched on earlier, there's one play where I throw it 2 yards too far, or don't bring him inside long enough, and there's a bunch of little things that go on during a game, and we got to sharpen up on those. And on Saturday, we've had a good couple last 2 weeks of practice, and we're going to be ready for Saturday. And like I said earlier, it's going to be a fun game to watch.
They've been outscored 80-45 or something in the first quarter, and about the same margin in the first half. Is this game, are the coaches talking about this game more than any other? Get out to a fast start and you might be able to really end it early?
Well, I know, just with Coach Clem, we always talk about jumping on people early because, a lot of teams, they, you can break their will early and they'll just lay down. A lot of teams do, and we're not specifically talking about this team, but we approach every single week with that, get on them early, and hopefully they'll quit by second or third quarter.
You kind of piggyback on what he's saying, just you got to force them to beat us. You can't make mental mistakes, and physical mistakes during a game happen, and that's part of it, but you can't make the mental mistakes that can cost you a game. They got to make them beat us.
All right, we're going to see how that shakes out Saturday afternoon, SMU Marshall at Ford Stadium. Get your tickets at SMUMustangs.com or calling 214-SMU-GAME. Also, do not forget, SMU's men's soccer team, which is ranked 5th in the country, is hosting an NCAA playoff game Sunday night, 7 o'clock, Sunday night at Westcott Field against the winner of New Mexico and Creighton. Watch these guys on Saturday. Come back out to Westcott Field on Sunday night. Thanks very much. This has been PonyFans Live.